Hello everyone, I'm your host, MrElephant. Today we're going to start off with something a little bit different than usual. We're going to begin by reviewing an AI that I just previously released for Return of Rome and standard Age of Empires. So what you see on your screen is Return of Rome, and the default AI is the AI that originally released in 1997 by Ensemble Studios, which I finished converting and released the other day. The reason why I'm going to be showing this right now is because a couple of you were interested inside the chat. Waddle in particular wanted to see this, so we're going to take a brief look at this and then play a few games and then continue from there. So before we begin, let's make sure the settings are correct and then continue from there. Okay, the settings do look correct, so we're going to go ahead and start off the game. So Egyptians, so we don't, well actually, I had a game going before this. A good test partner would probably be itself, maybe. I'm not going to play with the standard DEAI because it would just overwhelm this AI. So I am streaming from a different. Could you lower the music sound? Okay, I can do that. Esty said that. Is that better, model? Esty was saying that was too quiet yesterday, so I had to turn it up. Okay, let's go ahead and try it with these settings, and you can see for yourself how it plays. So one of these two civs is Lafayette, and as you know, Lafayette is not inside the original game, but I have not disallowed that setting. So when there are around 10 different build orders that allow for any civ to use them. Some of those build orders are, I can pull that up on my screen and review those a couple with you right now. So let me pull that up. Lafayette. Let's go over those. Let me see. So those civs are, for example, Archer Bronze, Archer Iron, Cavalry Bronze, Cavalry Iron, Infantry Stone, and Infantry Tool, the Flanks Bronze and Iron, and Priest Bronze and Iron. So those are the strategies that allow for basically any civ to play them. So there are no limitations in that way where any civ can really play those strategies. Others are very civ dependent, so you will not be able to, not every civ will be able to play those settings. And it's the same for regular standard DE as well. So I'm going to speed this up because we don't need to, I know we have some Davis Cup games to play as well. I'll probably go quiet during those games because I'm in a different location today and I'd prefer not to interrupt other individuals, but I know that these games have to be streamed, so I prefer to still run them. So we'll go ahead and do that after we take a look at this AI. So as you can see, when an original Civ is picked, it does change the name to one of those original Civ leader names, like Alexander II, which came from the language file of the original game. Default is chosen when there is no such leader present, so Lafayette obviously not inside the original game. Something else that may be considered is for all civilizations or all build orders is delaying the mill for 30 seconds instead of an initial resource found food or just standard return of Rome. This is because of the berry issue where there's a front berry that is kind of placed before the others, and that can cause additional longer drop distances. So that is something else that we will be working on. So what were the two strategies they chose? They chose Cavalry and, well, actually both chose Cavalry Iron. So one chose the default profile and one chose super aggressive. Both strategies are fairly aggressive strategies. One additional thing that original AIs have difficulty with is the scouting because of the engine. It looks like Blue has found the enemy though, here. If they are attacked, it will cause massive delays in the scouting process. I think Cheese on Toast said that they are aware of that issue and it will be fixed in the future. So for example, Red has not found Blue. Yeah, I made sure that they chatted their strategies so we would be able to see what build orders they were using and what profile they were using as well. Yeah, this is kind of a secret stream here, as Esty said. This is basically an addition. We're not going to spend very much time looking at this, but Waddles kind of wanted to see it, so we're going to take a brief look at it. And we may even speed it up so we can see some of the other settings. So let's go ahead and go up to 8. It should not affect the gameplay at all really, going up to 8.0. Because there's barely any user patch at all regarding inside there's a little bit with the elephant hunting. They aren't attacking each other yet here. Of course, they do follow the original build order researches and strategies in their original sort of way. Some differences between how build orders are inside the original game versus we had to separate them by inside the Age of Empires 1, they were loaded top down by age. When we worked on the converter, we separated them by by age, obviously. But they still use the original researches. They still load in the original settings. The original per values are what they were, except for the fact that Leaf's 12 per settings that you must change immediately are were adjusted. So we're seeing the initial attack here. Yes, and this will actually allow us the you can actually play this. So it's actually a little bit weaker than the standard CD AI, but I converted it for Return of Rome, and I converted it to play on standard DE. So you can actually play this on both settings, but it's a little bit weaker than the standard CD AI. Mainly because of castles. So Age of Empires 1 really has difficulty with castles in general. The original AoK CD AI, I mean, it has trouble with castles as well. So they were about to get their heavy cavalry there, but just barely missed it. But yeah, that's how it kind of works. One thing that I guess can be a little bit better is the deathmatch. We'll go ahead and show a little bit of deathmatch here. It struggles with houses a little bit and population. So I will quickly show this, and then we'll have to go do some Davis Cup games, Waddle. But we'll go ahead. Let's see here. But all 40 around 50 strategies are present. We'll go ahead and do this. It will probably be pretty one-sided. It does struggle a little bit with houses, so it does also have some resign rules. If less than 5 population, it will resign for villager population. So this one, it obviously was not close, but it can play these settings. Partially of why it's not close is because of that first minute of setting up houses, but it can play this setting. It's obviously pretty one-sided. Yeah, that was quick. But yeah, it can play the deathmatch scenarios, but like I said, it is it can go with the dark starts as well if you want to post Imperial Deathmatch dark starts, and it can also play the water settings as well. I'll show one brief little tiny look into how it plays on standard DE, and then we'll have to go on to Davis Cup. hopefully they quicken up the load transition here between Return of Rome and Standard. Hello, Maddie Ratty. Thank you for joining. If you let the vanilla AI actually have like a minute of setup, if, for example, I mean on deathmatch, it will come back with a vengeance. One additional thing is it can play water. Water is definitely not one of the strong suits of Age of Empires 1 vanilla. Just an FYI. Especially when it's converted. So it can play water, that doesn't mean it'll play it well. So all these strategies are present inside the... And you'll have to make sure to choose one of the proper maps that are listed on the webpage. But it can play any civ. I've set it up that way for everyone. Oh, deathmatch again by accident. Let's see what will happen here. It does have a little bit of trouble with houses. I'm not sure of what would cause that, but I have seen that where it can have difficulty with the houses. It's something that I plan on talking with Offwell about. Castles are the main threat to this it doesn't like walls. It will try its best to play with them, but doesn't mean that it will play with them very well. But anyhow, I think I'm going to call it right now, and we will proceed on with standard data scope. So that's about how the AI plays. Plays those settings, plays a lot of different maps, the original vanilla maps, and it can play there's other maps that are listed on the webpage. So looks like he ran himself out of gold there, but yep. Glad to show it off. Hopefully everyone enjoys it and provides a little bit of feedback. Maybe we can make it a little bit better here. But we'll just have to see how it goes. And now we have an AI that can, a weaker AI that can play Return of Rome. So that's good too. So not everyone can play at the DE level. So, alright, off to standard Davis Cup.